I think one of the scariest things right now that's causing us fear is that we don't know the future. Nobody does. This is so new, this is so crazy that we don't know what's going to go on and what's happening. Even the experts. You listen to one expert on the stock market who says all hell is breaking loose, and the other expert says everything's going to be fine pretty soon. You listen to the expert epidemiologist and they say, oh, we're going to get this under control, and another one says this is going to go on for months and months and months. We don't know. Nobody knows the future. So what do we do to overcome the fear that we have in the present? In Psalm 124, it starts out by saying, if the Lord had not been on our side, let Israel say. And then again in verse 2 it says, if the Lord had not been on our side. That refrain is repeated again. And then he goes on to say, when people attacked us, they would have swallowed us alive. What the psalmist is doing is remembering a time in the past when God helped, when God brought Israel and brought God's people through a terrible circumstance and saved them. And I think that's important for us to remember, that we have to look to the past to find hope and perseverance for the future. In fact, in verse 6, he again says, praise be to the Lord who has not let us be torn by their teeth. And in verse 8, our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. We need to look to the past and God's faithfulness in the past to find perseverance for the future. And that's important. In my own life, I do the same thing. I remember the things that God has done in the past to have some way that we can move forward in the future. My wife and I, Melissa, we struggled with infertility for 4 years. We tried for 4 years, and then finally in the 5th year, after 5 years of it, we had our daughter McKinley. And then again, even after she was born, we tried again to have another child. And for an entire year, we had 4 miscarriages, one back to back to back to back. And we kept crying out to God, asking for him to help, to bring us out of that difficult circumstance when we had no idea what the future would hold. And finally, after 4 miscarriages, we got pregnant, and it wasn't just with one, it was with twins. And now, I have quite a breakfast crew that joins me every single morning. I got McKinley Lou here, and this is Kanan. And this is Evangeline. We call her Evie. And I look at them every day and I'm reminded of God's past faithfulness, and it helps me persevere into the future. I'll leave you with Corrie ten Boom's quote. She said, in living through a crazy time in World War II as someone who was thrown into a prison camp because she was helping Jews, that she said, never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God. So what I want to encourage you to do is to remember in your life what God has done. To look around and remember, God saved me from this car wreck. God brought me out of this trial. And think about all the things in your past and let that push you forward to persevere in the future. And I want you to do one more thing. If you got this through an email me back and tell me what God has done in your past. If you're watching this on social media or on YouTube, leave a comment below. Send me a message. I want to hear about what God has done in your past. And let that give you the perseverance you need for an unknown future.